Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. People need to appreciate Turki Alalshikh. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to start referring to him as His Excellency. Start to put some respect on this guy's name and appreciating him. Now, words matter. And please subscribe to the channel. Now, I sat there and I listened to him speak yesterday. And out of everything he said, which everything he said was spot on for me, it's kind of caused me to kind of look at what he's doing in Saudi a little bit differently. Before I was talking a lot about the secret society, and I still think the secret society is in full effect. And then I was, for me, peeling the layers back to really start to understand when boxing started to bubble up in Saudi Arabia, and who was the impetus to get it going, right? And when I do that, look, everything kind of goes back to Ken Ahan's involvement, his influence, okay? But the bottom line, let's fast forward to where we are now, okay? With Turki Alalshikh. This man, I truly believe, I think he may be terminally ill. And the reason I say that is because yesterday when he was talking, he was just talking about how there are fights that he hopes to see while he's still on this earth. And I said, whoa. See, people didn't catch that shit, but I caught that. And I'm like, man, what's going on with this guy? So I tried to do a little bit of digging, but I couldn't find anything to really address his health issues. But I'm going to dig more tonight, because if you've been following the channel, you know all this Saudi Arabia, Ken Ahan, Tyson Fury, the Super 6 tournament, the stuff that was taking place in Pakistan, how over there in Africa the PFL is trying to go over there. Who's protecting the Irish, Daniel Ken Ahan, his father, and the mob from the Irish cartel. The United States not being able to track these guys down. That whole thing is very interesting to me. That's why I talk so much about it. But what I do want to tell you is for Turki Alalshikh, BoxingScene.com just did an article on him. But I'm gonna touch on some of the things he said, but also with my own commentary. I think it's only fair to say that, like in this article on BoxingScene.com, that he's become probably the most prominent power broker when it comes to making fights. And the main reason for that, and I think most would agree, it's because it's all about the money. Skill, like in boxing, skills pay the bills, but when it comes to making fights, it's all about the dollar bill, y'all. Most of these promoters, they don't want to put money up for a fight, right? Because whenever they're putting money up, it's their money. It's a risk. If the fight doesn't do well, that's on the promoter. If the fight does well, good. Stars light up. Thank you, God. We live to see another day. But when you have this guy here, Turki Alalshikh, who has advanced health issues, who wants to see certain things because he's a boxing fan, and he and his king and prince, the money is there for him to make the fights he wants, then nothing is an issue. That's how come you're able to see, like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, different fights on the same fight card. I don't see how a person can complain about what's going on in Saudi Arabia right now. Now, I'm all about the conversation about, hey, the secret society, what exactly is going on. I'm all about any conversation about, whoa, is boxing in the States going to die out? What about Las Vegas? I make jokes about Joe Biden calling it an airstrike and all this craziness, right? It's fair to have those conversations. But I never once have you heard me say, and will you ever hear me say that this is bad for boxing? No, I think fighters should get the most money possible. I do think that when I hear people saying that, I'm like, at least be able to make your argument tenable. It's not tenable. You're just out here saying, this guy's bad for boxing, or this shouldn't be happening. He's the worst thing to ever happen to boxing. Like, okay, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for that, because you're entitled to how you feel, but why? If people can't explain it, at least say why. But they can't articulate why they feel the way they feel. I personally think it's because they're just bandwagonists and heard somebody else talk shit, so they're out here parroting what they've heard. But what I will tell you, man, is when it comes to Turki Alalshikh and being the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, that money that they have over there, I think he's been given a green light by the king and the prince because of his health condition, and they know he loves boxing. If you listen to him talk about boxing yesterday, the man's passionate. Now, I personally think he should have stayed behind the scenes more, but he's out there, and I started to really digest him talking about his advanced health issues and how he just hopes to see certain fights before he dies. Well, while he's still here, same thing, right? And I said, for him to come out now and openly talk to the public, like, I have nothing to hide. We want you to come to our country. We welcome everyone. I said, he's working against time. And that is why he's giving us the fights that he wants to see and we want to see, but more because this is what he wants. If he was a guy who loved basketball, he'd be bringing all kind of guys over there to play basketball, which they're doing if you guys didn't hear about that. But his thing is boxing. So fortunately for us, they're pushing all sports, but in particular boxing. What he said, boxing is his passion. Now, I don't know if he's ever boxed or anything, but I do know he loves the sport. So what we're going to see, I think, we're going to see a bull rush of what we saw towards the end of last year for as long as he's still around. And everyone should appreciate this guy, because if it wasn't for him, because see, now it can kind of pull some of the pieces together, and it gives me a better understanding of what's really going on. I'm thinking Kinahan is out there pulling strings and shit, right? Or someone behind the scenes took the blueprint and they're pulling strings. I still believe when you trace it all the way back, there's some things that may have, at the grassroots level, started there. But where we are now, it has everything to do with this guy. Everything to do with him. And I think for as long as he's here, we're going to see stuff that's beyond comprehension. Because he said we're just getting started. It's not even about Riyadh season. I'm thinking, okay, for Riyadh season, these are things that they want to do is bring boxing every year. Riyadh season's over. It's about to die down towards the end of the year. Riyadh season bubbles up, and then they have the big boxing matches again. I was wrong. He's going to keep this going year-round. As long as he's there, and as long as he can get the fighters to come over and get their promoters, those who want to work through their promoters, and get them to agree. Because Turki Alalshikh, man, if you listen to him, he's not about having 4 different sanctioning bodies. He's not about having, all these different titles, the Pearl Belt, the Intercontinental this. And I don't think he really cares to see all those damn weight divisions either. I know a lot of us don't. When you see a guy who weighs in to fight at 140 pounds and then comes in the ring over 160 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Why have the weight division? So I think with him, and with the kind of money he has, let me tell you something. I think he's going to affect change in boxing. And it sounds like he has his own interests, his own agenda, but it aligns with the direction that the moral compass is pointing. And that's truly what I believe after listening to him. So my tune on Saudi and what's going on with boxing, I'm not overhauling it, but I may make a little tweak, because everything he said I agree with. This is stuff we talk about on this channel. The only thing he's not talking about is the secret society. That's my thing. But everything he said I agree with. Fighters, it's about the fighters. Managers and promoters, man, he's not worried to deal with those guys. And people were talking about, well, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, they need to do more work. If Alalshikh's put up the money, then the promoters need to go and do X, Y, and Z. No. Listen to Alalshikh, man. They're putting up the money for promotion. They're the ones doing everything. What's happening here with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, they get marching orders and they do what Alalshikh says. It's Alalshikh's vision. It's not like, oh, here's the money, you guys go out here and make it happen. No. That's not how this is working. Right? People understand, this is not a democracy. All right? This is not where they are collectively coming up with what they want to be done. No. Alalshikh is telling them, this is what I want. And then collectively, they work on the vision and see about how they can get all the stakeholders who are involved and get them to work together to ensure his objectives are met. That's what's happening here. And it's going to be like that. And there was someone talking about, I don't see how Eddie Hearn, Fast Eddie, can sit here and go out there and be second to Frank Warren. Basically, he'll be third in line. Let me tell you, because Eddie Hearn's not stupid. You see, they just brought Snooker over there to Saudi Arabia, him and his dad. Eddie Hearn's not dumb. And even if he is a little stupid, his dad's brilliant. His dad gonna sit there and grab Eddie Hearn by the ear and put a pinch in his ribs if Eddie Hearn takes it to the stupid. You know, say, hold on. We got somebody here who, for the most part, is putting up the money. Let's sit back and listen and try to learn, but understand that we're not risking that much financially. So if it's something they want us to do, you do it. And let's learn and let's form good relationships with the Saudis. And let's just see how far we can take everything to really not only help our business, but to help with his goal, with his vision, with his mission statement. And I think that's what's happening. But I'm going to bring it back full circle. I know he has a genuine love for the sport of boxing. He's talked about it. The high-profile fights in a short period of time, I think it goes back to him not being in the best of health and knowing that he may not live a full life. Again, nobody has any control over that. You can't question the big man's work, all right? I'll say that. But what I will say is, it's one thing to know that, hey, you have cancer. It's metastasized through all parts of your body. And all we can do is keep you comfortable. I'm not saying he has cancer. What I'm doing is telling you, if you get some information like that, then you got to plan accordingly, okay? So I don't know what's going on with him, but it makes me feel that I'm making an assumption, and that's what you do a conversation about boxing and we're creating content. It's assumptions, speculations. We're just talking. I personally think he's terminally ill, and maybe it's something in the early stages, something that was going on the last few years that may have snowballed into something beyond control. It's just a matter of keeping him comfortable, and that's why you see him just like, I want this, I want that, I want this. And he's just working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, because he doesn't have time to take a vacation. Because it's like, I want to see these things while I'm here. And this is the impact I want. One, because, you know, he has faith, right? So he wants to make sure he squares that away. Two, for his kingdom, for his country, right? And then three, he has some desires that he wants fulfilled. And I think that's how he kind of prioritizes, you know, God, country, and then whatever desires he has. And, well, God, country, family, then his desires. And I truly believe that's what we're seeing here. But what I will tell you right now, for people who are being negative, I expect to see that, man, when you're dealing with some of these people out here between the ages of 14 to like 25, maybe even 28, 30, right? I expect to see some buffoonery. But cats who've lived life a little bit, I think when you really sit back and listen to what he's saying and seeing how he's stacking these cards and the money they're willing to put up and how the king and the prince are just no longer about golf. It's no longer about, I mean, it's still about the race car, but it's really boxing all of a sudden. And letting him just, hey, whatever you want to do. When you put all that together, it's pretty heart-wrenching to know. It's almost like, these are my dying wishes. I'm making an assumption, right? But this is what I want. And the king and prince is like, just let him go. Whatever, green light. But let's make sure we structure this a kind of way to make it a win-win for you, but for the country as well. And that's what they're doing. So is it sports washing? I mean, it is. But is he really out here trying to use sports to get people to see Saudi as a destination? Or is he out here like, I want y'all to see my country as a destination, and these are the things that we want you to know, that we're just like you. Culturally, there's some differences, but we like sports. We like music. We like to have fun too. But it's just to get people to see them as human beings too, just cultures are differently. not necessarily for them to accept the way that they do business. You know what I'm saying? That being said, y'all keep cool. More to come. But I definitely think what's going on in Saudi Arabia is a lot deeper than just the stuff I've talked about the secret society and, you know, and having the Irish mob influencing things. So I think I'm wrong. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.